Hey guys, welcome back to Bullfrog Hikes. Hope you're loving the content. Like and subscribe. Let's get on to the video. So, am I hiking the Triple Crown? I don't know yet. I need to first finish the AT and we'll see where it goes from there. So, that is my goal. That is my total focus. And I do not want to claim I'm going to be some badass before I even am one. So, let's first do that. Some other things I wanted to discuss. I had somewhat of a gear failure these last 2 weeks, this last week and a half of testing out my gear. One of my gloves, it had a rip by the index finger right there. And I don't know about their durability. They just seem kind of crappy. Maybe that's because they're $7 and from Ross. For now, I'm going to be rocking these Pearl Izumi cycling gloves, which I've had for years. They've been through insane abuse. They're still holding strong. They keep me much warmer, but they're a little bit heavier. I think they weigh like 4 ounces, 5 ounces, so they're heavy. But they also have just like this padding because it's for cycling, and it actually helps you grip trekking poles too. So I think that's kind of cool. There's a lot of, I want to say something that a lot of sports, the gear kind of intertwines because if it's good for cycling, a jacket, like if the jacket's good for cycling, it's probably good for hiking and vice versa. I would say even more so from the cycling stuff because you're kind of putting that gear even in more abuse. Like if you crash on your bike, if you're rubbing it up on stuff all the time, cycling, in the cycling world, they make really high quality gear. A lot of that made in the USA stuff is awesome. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of bring that up. What else? Oh, I did want to address another thing, which is I want to make maybe some videos like for the ladies out there. I know that I have a pretty big female audience. I think it's like about 30%. So I was like, that's a lot of ladies. I think I want to have some people on my podcast, some female thru hikers that I met on the trail. Specifically, I want to talk to Snail Guardian. I want to talk to Arrowhead. I want to talk to Hello. And many more people that I met. Those are the main ones that I kind of hung out with. And I did meet somebody else named Chopper. She had like this super cute cat that was like, the cat's name was Subway. So Chopper and Subway, I don't know if they made it to Katahdin, but I saw them at around the 650 mile mark, 600 mile mark. Both of them were super fun to hang out with. I'd love to bring her on the podcast as well and listen to her stories about why she got the trail name Chopper, super crazy story, and her experience on the PCT. So she was already a thru hiker that did the whole PCT and then came out to the AT to do that. So kind of a badass if you ask me. Super experienced. So what else? I know for sure though, in the next few days or the coming week, I'm gonna have Piper on the podcast. He was one of my favorite buddies to hike with, and we spent many hundreds of miles together. On and off, we both kind of had different plans, but we always met up and kept in touch. So I think he's a super cool guy. We have some crazy stories between the two of us that were pretty hardcore. So I think he would want to come on the podcast and tell us that story. And I think I know what story I'm talking about. If we don't have to cover all the details. I'm not trying to maybe some people don't want to share some of the things that happened on the AT. Like the AT is it is romanticized like crazy. It is a trail, and there's people from all over the world, from every background, but just not just that. That's one aspect of it. Things happen, like weather events, like dehydration, like bear safety things, like everything happens on the trail. Ticks, there's things like you have to know about before you just set out and go hike. So I would recommend, if there's anyone new here that doesn't really know anything about this stuff, like do your research. Go on YouTube, watch Homemade Wanderlust, watch Darwin on the Trail. They both will share with you so many stories and so much content of mistakes that they made and everything pertaining to long distance hiking and being outdoors for a long period of time. So definitely highly recommend their channels. Another channel that I'm into, and I don't know if you guys are, this might be a whole nother category of stuff, but there's a whole world of bushcraft and like primitive shelters, starting fires, taking a minimalist kit into the woods, like an axe and some fire starting things and just some tools, and using your environment to survive, like survivalism, all that stuff. Like there's the bug out bag people that they want to make a bag so they can bug out when the world's ending. There's preppers that are super into like emergency preparedness and stashing a bunch of food and supplies. There's so many different communities that kind of like overlap, and through hiking is one of them. And it's so cool to branch out into other aspects of this whole thing, because there's a lot to learn from each and every one of them. Like for example, I would highly recommend Far North Bushcraft and Survival. I watched so many of his videos. He's a super smart guy, super wise guy, and he's kind of like Gandalf with his beard. I just love that beard. It is epic. So I think he's a super badass that lives out in Alaska, and he does like some wild shit. Like he goes on canoes and down these rivers, and this is like, they do this to survive in the winter. He goes with his wife. They go hunting for elk, and then they shoot the elk, load it onto the canoe, and it weighs like thousands of pounds. It's like insane. This guy is like an old like dude, and he's like carrying like more weight than I could ever freaking haul. Like he has all this like technique for like picking up the antlers with the head, and it's like bigger than him. Oh my god, that guy is a hardcore badass. So I highly recommend his channel, and I love some of his videos. Here's specifically with that guy, specifically with him, I would say watch some of his videos on starting fires in wet conditions, because he will teach you how to use resources in nature, such as barks that are highly flammable, all whole manner of other stuff, just to start a fire in an emergency. He has so many techniques, and this stuff is worth knowing and worth practicing, because you never know when you can find yourself in a similar situation. And I think knowing what wild edibles you can eat, knowing what barks you can consume. There are barks that you can cook and eat. There's ways to boil water without a pot. There's so many things to learn. So I think you guys, hopefully that gave you some like little ideas of things that you might want to look into. So I don't know. I just thought that was some thoughts I wanted to share with my small little community. And yeah, so I'm super excited to have everyone. I want everyone on my podcast. I want everyone I met on the trail. Most of the people I met on the trail, I want most of them to hop right on. And you guys are super welcome. Hit me up. Message me on Instagram. I might start a Discord server so that it's easier to get a hold of me, I guess. But otherwise, yeah, like leave a comment. Just hit me up. I'm always online. I love keeping track of all the things that we're all going through as post-trail hikers and upcoming hikers. I'm following a lot of upcoming people. Shout out to, I think it was Bob Ross, and I don't know what the other guy's name was. The two dudes that are super, I think brothers? I don't know. They look like brothers. I think they're brothers. Maybe if not in biologically, definitely in spirit. I think their channel is super, super inspiring, and I think that those guys what they're doing is a very admirable thing, showing different people how they can heal through hiking. It's called wilderness therapy is what they're doing. And I didn't even know about this whole thing, but it's a subcategory in its own. There's a lot of people doing that. A lot of people had issues with drugs and other addictions in their lives, and they came on AT to like separate themselves from that environment and to try something else out and move on in their life and achieve big things, and that's so cool. Like, that's one of my favorite things. And one thing I will say about that is a huge topic, but you have to be very careful. If you have a drug problem or addiction or anything, just know that on the AT there are some people, some percentage of people that are all about partying. And it might not be a great influence. You might find it very difficult to have self-control when everyone around you is smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, drinking a lot, beers for days. I'm not against that stuff. I mean, more power to you if that's what you want to do with your life. But I think that there's some people that are really seriously, they're getting on trail to get away from that. And I just think it's sad when they run into other people who encourage that behavior. But it is what it is. Everyone's an adult, and hopefully everyone's an adult. There's some kids on the trail, so people bring their families, people bring their dogs. The trail is quite literally every walk of life, and that's super cool and just amazing. So yeah, just wanted to kind of let you guys know some information about that. So yeah, I can't wait to have some more guests on my podcast. Hopefully you guys loved my last guest. His Thunderbird. He is like, I've known him since we were little kids. We are very close, very, very close. We've been close for many of the last 20 years. And yeah, he's like an awesome dude. So it's getting hella dark out here. I probably look like super grainy. So I'm gonna end this little tidbit, this little shooting the shits with my audience, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Stay safe, peace out, and keep on hiking, keep on trekking. Don't let things in life get you down. Just stay positive and be yourself, I think, is a big thing too. I found that very difficult to do sometimes because of peer pressure, but at the end of the day, you need to be yourself and stay true to yourself and stand by your beliefs. That's one of the things that I learned in the last year, and I think other people can take something away from that and try to apply the same for themselves. Anyway, Bullfrog Hike signing out. We'll see you on the next one.